Stream is go! Hey, happy Wednesday morning, everybody. We are doing Troll and Friends comic strip, and if you're watching this, you're one of my Patreon patrons because it's a private party for only you guys. Yeah, so we're gonna draw. You can see here on the screen, I've already got Illustrator started with the header that I made a couple times ago. Troll and Friends presents A Hitch in Trolls Get Along. So while I was at my camping trip, and I think this will be the last camping strip for a little while, I'll figure out what the next topic is going to be. I've got a whole list in my notes section on my phone, but I think we've beat that camping horse pretty hard in the last couple strips. But anyway, the real story, and you know this from watching, was that I was hooking up our trailer so that I could come home, and I dropped the tongue of the trailer right on my foot, and I was only wearing flip-flops at the time, and had to like completely carry the, load up the trailer after taking it back to the campsite, and then drive 7 hours home on it the next day, and then unload the trailer and do all this other shit. Luckily, my foot wasn't broken. I waited like 3 days for it to go down, and it finally started hurting. It didn't really hurt it to begin with. It just kind of was real ugly and stiff. But when it finally started hurting, then I went to the doctor to get x-rays, and luckily nothing was broken or out of place or anything like that. It was all just soft tissue damage, and it's finally getting a little bit better. I mean, it's a lot better, but it hurts every once in a while still. But anyway, so this is going to be the story of how the troll dropped the trailer on his foot and got a hitch in his get along. Get it? Because it's a trailer hitch smashing his foot. Okay, without further ado, we're just gonna hop right into it. So we've got the template set up like we always do. Okay, I'm watching the screen over here on my left on my on my MacBook, and the screen went black for a second and scared me, but I think you guys are still with me, so that's good. That makes me happy. So we're getting down here to the blue line layer, going over to the blob brush tool, making that guy blue. Don't make my brown eyes blue. Making sure that we're set up at 3 points. We are. I'm just going to zoom in here so we can get some drawing done. Winston's joined me over here. He's on his little cat cube off to my right. He might pipe in later. Last time he was pretty vocal during the stream. Yeah. Alright, so in this first strip, we're going to have the back of the Jeep. I was borrowing my dad's Jeep, which used to be my Jeep. All right, and this, in this blue line, we can be kind of sketchy. And then, yeah, there's Winston. He's like, "What? You said you wanted me to talk?" And then here's the trailer. Alright, Janelle's sending me Facebook messages because she doesn't remember that I stream at 10 o'clock, I guess. But I will ignore her, just for you people, just for my art. Alright, so this is looking pretty sloppy today. And I think all these guys need to come farther down because there's no point in having all that empty ground. And then I'm going to have Troll up a little bit. And this this trailer's whack, so let's try that one again. All right. It's the beauty of doing everything on the blue line, kids. So So I finished Far Cry 5, was what I've been kind of binging on lately in my in my downtime. And what a piece of shit. The ending's terrible. I'm not going to give you any spoilers at all, but I was just like, really? Okay. If you want spoilers, you can find them online. And if you're in the middle of playing it, I mean, it's worth playing through just because, you know, all the blowing crap up all the time. If you know, decide that you don't really want anything that makes sense. But holy cats, it was terrible. I'm having a hard time working out the composition of this one. I don't like it at all. So we're just going to completely remove it all. Alright, I think it just needs to be focused more on the trailer hitch. And the tongue. And Troll can be hoisting that on there. That's better. That tells a little bit. That's a little bit more action, you know. All right. A little perspiration coming off of him because it were hot. All right, and then he's got shorts on. And little flippity flops. All right, I want that to be up here. Yeah, and you guys can see the value of doing everything here on a blue layer. Back in the day, blue pencil wouldn't reproduce when they would take actual like camera. You know, everything was done with the camera when you're doing your newspapers and things like that. All the art was actually put into this stat camera, they called it. And blue line wouldn't pick up, like the camera had a certain filter on it that it wouldn't pick up any blue lines. So you could have your little I'm so terrible at multitasking. Sorry, guys. You know, you could have your little trace lines and the old guidelines and things like that, and they wouldn't show up. And so that was the basis of it. But then nowadays you don't have to, obviously, with the computers you kids got these days. But I like to do it anyway, just to. All right, I think I'm gonna have his right eye on our left side squinted, and his other one really big. Like he's really. I don't want him to look mad. I just want him to look like he's, you know, really putting his dick skin on it. All right, and then let's save that. I'll have a nice, refreshing drink. Diet Pepsi, Breakfast of Champions. And then we're going to have the hitch come down, or the tongue rather. The hitch stayed in place. Let's see here. We're just going to rough this one too. I want to give him little kneecaps here. And actually, it was my right foot, so we're just gonna fix that up here in a second. Switch her over. But I'm thankful to be, getting around on it better now. It was a harrowing couple weeks. It's too many loops. But none of them were closing up. This is killing me. All right, that's his mouth, and I love it. One thing, I kind of wish it was all smaller so that his hat could be flying off. Let's see here. Yeah, I could make it smaller. Boy, it sure is just quiet without the music. I still haven't figured out what to do about having music in the background. Guess I could just acquiesce and go for one of the channels that they offer, the YouTube offers. The YouTube offers. All right, back to the blob brush. All right. Let's clean this up a little bit here. All right, and then the last panel is Troll. Hopping around with what, a giant foot. I guess he should only have 4 toes because he only has 4 fingers. I think his foot should be even larger. But knock on wood, we're going pretty well with no technical difficulties, except that I've just jinxed us all. And then in the bushes is the amorous Bigfoot. Alright, so we want to take this guy, shrink him down a little. Oops. Let's get all the pieces here, Jay. Alright. Control G to group that up. Shrink it down. Pull them over here. And then these lines can come down. And then this guy can be bigger, and not as hidden behind the bushes. Alright. Alright, so that's a super rough blue line today, but we're going to clean it all up. You know me, I'm good for it. I keep looking at the wrong camera. The camera that's actually on and working as my face is doesn't have a light on. So I'm gonna. I wonder if it locked up. The other camera looks okay. Can you guys still hear me? Anyway, yeah. The video is totally locked up. See, I jinxed us by saying we're not having any technical problems. But all right, let's get to the balloon layer actually, and get the type in. It's not going to be nearly as text heavy as our last one. So, can you guys hear me okay, or is everything completely screwed up? Jump in chat if you can hear me. I'd appreciate it. We're gonna make sure the caps lock's on. Go to Cabelar. Let me hop over here to OBS real quick and try to fix that camera. Okay, so I should have disappeared. And then let's try that again. I'm real small, but there I am. Okay, so hopefully that fixed it. I jinxed us by saying we're not having any technical problems, but yeah, hopefully we're back in action now. I got to be my own producer on this show. I got to be writer, producer, director, artiste. All right, so we want this guy to be 18 points. Is that usual? With no hyphenation, centered. Okay, and we're gonna say, what an exhausting week of camping. Oh, come on. Caps lock is supposed to be on. It'll be good to get hitched up and on the road. Okay, so that's fine. What I can do is just make troll smaller. It's no big deal. That's why we kind of do this in spurts like this. And I want this one to say, son of a motherless. And this one's just going to be, woo! And that's what's making the Sasquatch fall in love with him. All right, so I'm gonna handwrite in that "awoo," but I guess I could do it here on the balloon layer. Why not? Okay, we're gonna do that, but not on the balloon layer. All right, so now we're gonna lock the balloon layer, go back to the blue line layer, and kind of adjust things a little bit. For instance, make this guy just a little bit smaller. And then where's my blob brush? I can actually draw in part of the trailer. Okay. And then that one kind of covered up my hat, which was the whole point of this. So we're going to make this whole thing a little smaller. Okay. Alright, so let's save that real quick. Control S, have a little soup. I'm glad we got that camera working again, just so you guys could see me drink some stale Diet Pepsi. Alright, we're hopping back over to the ink layer, changing the ink to black. I want to just check the constant. Okay, it's a rich black. And let's zoom in and do this guy some justice here. Get to the blob brush. See, we can always make it look better in the ink layer. The sloppy line, so we'll just undo that. And we'll see how these loops go. You know, it's always a crapshoot. Hey, just a little bit on one, I can handle that. Alright, now Troll's hand is over this guy. Under here. Get that hitch on there. Alright. I didn't like how those two lines touched over on the other side. How the hitch runs right up against the line of his pants, so I moved that. And since we're not doing Troll's shirt, we'll just do the tread pattern on an all-terrain tire there. Alright, let's see. We got his arms down there. Need his shirt here. Okay. Okay. Save that. And here's the fun part. We can really tighten up this drawing a little bit. I don't like those touching, so we'll take that down just a little bit. Great. The hat flying off is good. I had yeah, I had like a little lip on there in the other panel. This is where you get to try to watch me draw a straight line. That one wasn't too bad. There you go. This one's gonna say slip. And smash. So the fun of comics is those Batman kind of there we go. This Batman kind of word balloons or action words, whatever. All right, let's save it. Control S. And the final punchline, I guess, here. That one looked way too happy. His cap's back on his head. Dang it. We had one more beard to draw and those loops showed up. Let's try it again. I wish I knew what caused that. I'll try to do it more slowly. You must make love to it like a woman. Yeah. Not the best, but we'll take it. Which is what the women's tell me when I make the love. I don't think I'm going to put that other sandal on the floor or on the ground, just because it's kind of like he's hopping around. We gotta make these real big for exaggeration purposes. Alright. Those bushes in the back are going to be a gray, so I'm not going to draw them in here on the ink layer, but we'll draw this guy in. Yeah, it felt like I was pushing my luck there with all those curvy lines. I guess that's not so bad. Okay. Alright, let's save that. And we'll move on to the gray. So get off the ink layer, we'll relock that, get on the shading layer. I'm going to pick a darker gray for the bushes. That is black. That is technically a darker gray, but a little bit more than we wanted here. Alright, let's try this. Alright. Now I can hide that blue line. Let's kick this up to 7 points. Alright. I'm just going to use that darker gray to fill in the tire here. And the bumper. Or maybe the tongue of the trailer here. Got a little sloppy, but I'll hit that with the eraser here in a second. It's the beauty of being able to work on separate layers. There we go. I think we'll also use this dark gray inside of Troll's open mouth there. Alright, I'm going to switch back to black real quick on this, and just do the top of the mouth so that the bottom looks like the tongue. On all these instances here. Okay, now we're going to switch to a very light gray and do the rest of our shading. It's occurring to me to save, so I'm going to do that right now. Always do it when you think of it. With this shading, it kind of looks more like an abominable snowman than a Yeti. But I don't want to, the bushes in front of them are going to be gray, so I don't want to do too much. I mean, there'll be that line of darker gray kind of separating them a little, but no, there won't, because you just drew red all over it, Jay. Alright. Let's see here. I forgot to do Troll's eyebrows, which will be up here. Hit that with black. It just dawned on me that I did the black of their mouths on the shading layer and not on the ink layer, but it's not the end of the world. I think his shorts are going to be all gray. Probably his little flip-flops here too. Of course, his beard. Maybe a smarter thing for me to do would be to have the bushes be in a halftone pattern. That way they won't blend in with all this gray that I'm putting all over everything. So I think that's what we're going to do. Landlord's mowing the lawn again. So sorry for the background noise. Alright. Save it now since we're moving to a different panel. I guess since we have moved to a different panel. Sloppy line work, Jay. Alright, color in this beard. Yeah, I had to think long and hard about what I wanted today's topic to be. And I thought, well, we can do one more camping story. And then, you know, move on with our lives, seeing as the camping trip was about 3 weeks ago. But, as luck would have it, J Puff and I are going camping again this weekend. With her extended family, 24 adults, various children's. So I'm sure maybe there'll be some more fodder there. Luckily, this campground's only 45 minutes away, not a 7-hour drive, like the one in Illinois was. Should be okay. Her family's very fun. They're far more competitive than I am. Like, you know, they want to play washer and beanbags and they have a competition about who can put together the best communal meal and everything. You know, I just want to go and sit under a tree and have a couple drinks. But I'll go along with it. It's only a couple days. They unfortunately the weather doesn't look like it's going to be good. Hopefully that'll change. You know the weather. Okay, wait. His shorts were completely gray, so I'm gonna do all these in. You know, wait 20 minutes and the weather changes here in the Midwest. But it looked like maybe some thunderstorms on Friday night and scattered showers on Saturday. Her cousin is from Minneapolis. Is very active. You know, a young. She's in her 20s and you know, has an outdoorsy kind of active husband and everything. And so they're going to go kayaking and canoeing and stuff like that. And you know, asked if everyone else wanted to go. Like, you don't put a fat man in a small watercraft. I think the Coast Guard would get you for that. So I'm definitely not doing that part. Okay, let's save it now that we're moving on to another panel. I need to go back with that darker gray and fix that line of bushes. I screwed up on the third panel where the Sasquatch's fur kind of overlaps the dark line that we made for the top of the bushes. Just reminding myself so I don't forget. Alright. Kind of delineate that chin strap. Guess I could have made this a bigger brush so I went more quickly, but it always makes the mustache look like crap then. So we'll bear with this for a couple extra seconds. Alright, and then get the flop sweat going on down there. It's a fun word. Okay, and I have the trailer Be in that same color. Okay, and then what I want to do is pick up this dark gray again and draw in this squiggle. There. All right, and I noticed a spot in the front panel too that needs a little cleaning up. All right. I guess we could throw some shade, as it were. Okay, and then we need the ink layer. Let's save this real quick. Then we're going to change the brush back down to 3 points. And do Troll's eyebrows. Dang it. We want to make them black. Okay, and I want to come on. Sometimes Illustrator needs a second to catch up with my my pen strokes here. All right. I think back on the shading layer, we're just going to put some motion lines. There you go. All right. Okay, let's save that. And now it's time for drawing in the balloons. I like to do that before I do the halftone in the back. So switch this back to the black. We've got the 3 pixel brush. There you go. And that one doesn't need a balloon. All right, save that. And then we hop over to the halftone layer, unlock that, lock the balloon layer. And for this part, I usually put away the tablet. I can do this all with the mouse. It's a little bit easier, a little less finicky than the stylus is. And we're, you know, we're well on our way. We're still going to be a little bit over. I must be extra chatty or something these days. So here, the swatches. I think this guy's usually a good one, but we'll find out here in a second. Okay, that's not the pattern I wanted, but we will deal with it for now and then change it here in a second. And what I'm doing is just using this the little pen tool to make the Bezier curves. I'm not bothering with curves, I'm just doing point by point. Which means I'm going to have to fill in those little sweat droplets. Because they don't have a white background in them right now, a white fill. And so they're going to take on the yeah, let's see here. I can do it this way. They're going to take on the pattern of the halftone. Like right now, there's really not too much filling it in. I have to go a little bit beyond there. All right, so let's take a look at that, and then let's choose the right halftone pattern. I think that's the one that I was looking for. Anything else is kind of a little bit too aggressive. I should just get rid of these ones that I never ever use. You think that would be a smart move? Like that one's not so bad. We'll see how this one goes. We're gonna use this one for now, and then reserve the right to shit can it later. And we're just you know, we're designating where the edges of this shape go. So that it doesn't, it's either that or have to fill in all the white, like in Troll's shirt and stuff like that. 6 of one, half a dozen the other, usually, really. I kind of like this because then you can kind of control where everything goes. It's a little cleaner than the paintbrush tool, which sometimes leaves which sometimes leaves little specks that you miss and stuff. Alright, that's not so bad. But we're going to hop over here to the blob brush with a white fill and paint in the sweat drops. Okay. Let's save that. And then for this guy, I want the halftone to be like a starburst. That way it's a little bit more dramatic. But if we're intersecting any of these white parts, we need to, so like for instance, the yeah, I might be doing this backwards. Guess we'll find out here in a second, everybody. Alright, so we got that guy. Let's pick up the halftone. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is just go in and paint, like I was saying was a pain in the butt, but go in and paint over Troll's white parts. With the blob brush. Let's make that up to 7. Oops. What the deuce is happening? It's on the halftone. Oh. The fill should be white. And this, we don't have to be pretty with it, because we're just trying to cover up the dots. But it's definitely a sloppier way to go. If I wanted to, I could go in and delineate another shape with a fill that is white, and to knock it out, you know, of the halftone pattern. That would be kind of the safer bet, kind of the cleaner bet, but it would also take a lot longer. And you guys are bearing with me this long. We're already at 11 o'clock. So we want to put this baby to bed here in the next couple minutes. So we're going to cheat. We're going to cut some corners. Now this halftone layer is beneath both the ink layer and the shading layer. So that's why I can just kind of go willy-nilly with it. And it's not covering up any of the grays or any of the black. It's just covering up that halftone. Alright. Let's zoom out and see what that looks like. Alright, we got to do it for the and I'm going to, having just said that, I'm going to use the shape tool for this part with the white fill, just because it's an easy shape, and it would take just about as long to paint it in, so we might as well just do it right the first time. Okay. All right, and then we want that halftone for the background here. So we go back to that shape tool. And what I want to do actually is use the eyedrop tool to steal that pattern, sample the pattern, we're not stealing it. And then I'm going to make the bushes that halftone pattern. So what I'm doing is using that pen tool to kind of trace the outline of where I want that to end. Go all the way around this giant foot. And I think this will be a good solution, using this halftone pattern instead of trying to make everything just, you know, that same gray. It gets a little confusing. Maybe not confusing, but it gets a little bland. So this will spice things up just a little bit. I'm noticing as I zoom in several spots on the gray layer where I did a shoddy job doing the shading, so I might go back in and just fix those as long as we're here. Which I guess is the reason that we do this with the shape tool, because we don't want that shoddy job. So you can just see there at the top of, you know, that first little loop and the side of the other loop here on his hat, there's a white crescent where it didn't go all the way to the black. See, now this black looks like flat black to me now that I'm zoomed into it, but the color composition, if you click on the color in the palette, it tells you how much percentage of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black make up the color. And like a flat black would just be 100% black and no other colors. And rich black is like, you know, 78% cyan and 68% whatever. Anyway, it's you know, it's made up of all four colors. And in fact, the black part, it's made up. It's got, like, you know, 86 or something black. So when I tested this to see how it would go, it looked like it was rich black because it had, you know, readings for all of those, for all 4 colors. But upon further review, it looks flat to me. I'm going to go in and erase that line on the Sasquatch's jawline there too, that comes over the bushes. I don't like that. Okay. Alright, let's save that. And then we're going to lock the halftone layer, unlock the ink layer, zoom in, and take our little eraser tool and just erase that little bit that comes over there and this little bit that comes over here. Alright, and then we're going to hop onto the shading tool, the shading layer rather, get back to the blob brush, and we're going to sample, oops, we are going to sample that medium gray and then blob brush it in. Fix all those little spots that I noticed while we were zoomed in. You know, and online and in the print, when this eventually becomes printed, you're really probably not even going to notice that stuff, but as long as we're here, we might as well do a good job. See, that's sloppy too. But I just did a real sloppy job here, kids. Clean up all these little places where the paintbrush was not optimal. Alright. Now I'm going to sample the darker gray and fix a couple spots that I saw in that too. Yeah. This guy's pretty bad. This whole tongue thing here. And now, of course, we're finding other spots with terrible light gray. Alright. Anyway, I think we're okay here. So let's take a look at the whole thing. The hitch and trolls get along. What an exhausting week of camping. It'll be good to get the trailer hitched up and on the road. Son of a motherless. Oh. There you go. I think on the balloon layer, I want to take this son of a motherless and just bring it down and center it a little bit more in the balloon. The first panel looks okay. Yeah. I think we've got a winner there, kids. So let's save it. And I I will export it as a PNG like I do every time, and then post it to the Patreon board for the people that couldn't join us today, so that they get to see the preview. And then tomorrow it will post to trollandfriends.com and Facebook and Twitter. All right, but you guys got to see it first because you're awesome. All right, everybody have a good Wednesday, and I will see you on Monday with a new strip. And we're not going to be camping anymore. Yay! Bye.